So I mean, I think this is a very, very important topic for us to discuss because I am right in the middle of this crisis. So a lot of patients that I see on a daily basis are advanced liver disease patients. Most of them have chronic liver failure related complications, which includes, repeated attacks of infections, something known as hepatic encephalopathy, which is basically brain failure, where liver patients land in a coma in the ICU multiple times, massive bleeds, kidney injuries. So, I mean, if we let these patients go through these complications, at one point, these complications are going to take over. And our medical management they just become unresponsive to any kind of medical management that we throw at them. And this is when we need patients to undergo a liver transplantation so that they can actually survive for much, much longer periods of time. So the first reason why there is a very reduced number of organ transplants happening. I mean, I'm speaking from a liver point of view, but I'm sure this is true from a kidney point of view, lung transplants, heart transplants, etc. But more so from the liver point of view is because number one is that the patients themselves and their family, they actually feel that transplants are a negative part of treatment. If somebody says that you have to undergo a liver transplant, they feel that that is the end of the line. And they have this myth that goes on even now among the normal community or normal population, which says that if you undergo a liver transplant, the chances of you dying is much more. And the reason for this myth still living inside our heads is because of the media. So the media will only report deaths due to liver transplant, and that might be one or two patients in maybe a year or two, and that too may be a high profile case. And they don't even talk about the hundreds of thousands of patients who are actually surviving because of a liver transplant. So this disproportionate storytelling in the social media, the news media, in the print media, this is what actually makes people, especially patients and the family, to not opt for liver transplant, which is actually life-saving. So that is number one point. That is, patients themselves and family themselves feel that transplantation is going to create more problems than benefits, which is actually the opposite in realistic terms. The second issue is that we are becoming, I think, more and more selfish because we are deeply driven by controversies and conspiracies. And every negative news just fuels our confirmation biases. So somebody will say that, if you become the organ donation process, we are specifically talking about disease donation. So there are two types of donations that can happen. One is a disease donation. When the patient is brain dead, we can harvest the organs as per protocol and after informed consent from the patient next kin, the family or the guardians. And the second one is known as a living donation, where a living person donates part of the organ, especially part of the liver, to the patient to help them survive longer. So we are specifically talking about disease donation. Disease donation is where you have voluntary donations happening in brain dead patients. And that is reduced quite a bit because a lot of conspiracy theories about hospitals harvesting, they say that, patients are not yet dead yet, but hospitals proclaim them as dead, and then they take their organs because they can get a lot of money out of it.